Back when I took this job in 2017, my colleagues in the energy sector said to me, Beth, nobody's going to want to do deals with these CCAs. You're crazy. Why are you working with this group of folks? And I said, this is the future. CCAs are the future.
The enactment of Assembly Bill 117 in 2002 enabled the creation of Community Choice Aggregation programs in California and launched an energy revolution, introducing competition where none existed before. For the first time, communities were empowered to work together to procure their own electricity resources and provide alternatives to investor-owned utilities. Through Community Choice Aggregation, or CCA, communities can join together to pool or aggregate their electricity load in order to purchase clean energy and develop local projects and programs on behalf of their residents and businesses. Aggregators work in partnership with the region's existing investor-owned utility, or IOU, which continues to deliver power and maintain the grid. At a time when the state's energy system faces many challenges, CCAs are bringing numerous benefits to communities across California. More than 200 cities and counties in California have made the choice to implement CCA in their communities.
So back in the beginning, we had a lot of interest in our community around reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And we had a community plan for how much we wanted to reduce our carbon emissions, and we're trying to figure out ways to get there. And this bill came about, AB 117, that seemed like a perfect tool to address our needs to have a big impact on greenhouse gas emissions in our community.
20 years ago, we were enveloped in a terrible energy crisis. Pete Wilson had begun to deregulate electricity years earlier, and it was the hope that more competition would be created, but that wasn't the case.
In 2000 and 2001, California was plagued with power shortages, rolling blackouts, and skyrocketing electricity prices. PG&E, California's largest utility, filed for bankruptcy protection. The state was in crisis, and something needed to be done.
I wanted to create a bill that gave counties and municipalities the option to create their own power systems that would include renewables or traditional sources, whatever was the best way to serve their communities. So the mood in Sacramento was one in which we felt it was imperative to act. We didn't want to live in a crisis state. We knew we had to create new ways of assuring a stable base for electricity and other power needs.
In response to the energy meltdown, San Francisco lawmaker Carol Migden introduced a bill, AB 117. Migden's bill would be transformative and give communities the ability to combine or aggregate their electricity demand and purchase their own power through not-for-profit, publicly operated CCA programs.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Members, this is a municipal aggregation bill. Senate amendments address industry concerns. I respectfully ask for your aye vote and concurrence.
The clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the vote. Ayes 53, noes 11.
With broad support for the bill, California lawmakers passed AB 117 in 2002, and Community Choice Aggregation was born.
When the law was being passed, there may have been an expectation on the part of PG&E that No municipality would ever take it up, no county would ever take it up. And lo and behold, some communities did look at it and did seek to take it up.
Several Central Valley and Northern California communities were the first to give CCA a close look. But it was Marin County who took the leap first, initiating CCA service in 2010.
There were a lot of days when we really didn't know if we would make it. There were so many challenges being thrown at us.
And there was some very serious obstruction. There was a ballot initiative, Prop 16, bankrolled by Pacific Gas and Electric, that would have crushed community choice in its infancy.
PG&E put a lot of money into Prop 16, over $45 million, and somehow it narrowly failed. The voters really saw through the intentions, and we were able to persevere.
It took 4 years between the time in 2010 that MCE launched and then 2014 when Sonoma Clean Power launched. And people in that interim period were saying, it's a fluke. Marin County is the only one that's ever going to do this. Nobody else is going to try it. We proved that wrong. Sonoma Clean Power launched. We thought, this is something that could be amplified.
I don't think that there was anyone in the state that would have thought that the third community to launch was a desert community that was Republican-led. So we were definitely, I think, unique. I think there were some that thought that it was never going to work, that we were never going to be able to successfully launch, particularly since we were also unique in our government structure. It was a city that was launching it and not a joint powers authority. The community embraced this. They saw the opportunity to take advantage of potentially having the energy come from the solar developments that were happening all around Lancaster. When Lancaster first launched, they had a solar project built right in the valley where we could point to and say, this is where part of our electricity comes from. And that really brought it home for a lot of the community.
I think what really made a difference is once a few CCAs had launched and folks could actually see the success of those CCAs, that's what made the idea catch fire.
We experienced what I called back then and called to this day the CCA baby boom, which was 2018 when 10 community choice agencies launched in that single year. Each one of them has its own unique characteristics based on the culture and the needs of the local community that they serve.
When we started initially setting up the CCA for LA County, it was truly a bipartisan experience. Don Knabe, a Republican from the South Bay, led the charge, asked me to co-author with him, a known progressive, and everybody said, well, if they can get along and do it, it must truly be a good thing. The appeal of the CCA, I think, was the growing recognition that we needed to have other sources of energy and that they should be renewable. This would give us the opportunity to offer greener energy to our constituents at competitive prices. It is a way of very realistically and practically taking a step to help with climate change. Because everybody says, I don't know what to do. Does my little piece make a difference? Well, this is an aggregate big piece. And it does make a difference because we're buying a lot of renewable energy for LA County. I mean, imagine what a county of 10 million people uses in terms of its energy.
Every month, every year, things change, technology changes, needs change. What Community Choice does is build capacity in your community to be able to navigate the changes with the power system, with the climate, so that you can sustain your community through the public safety power shutoffs and the disruptions. Yes, it's a local program, but it's replicable. Any community can adopt the same program. So it could go, statewide in all the areas where it's eligible. It could be amplified.
I'm hoping that we can get to a point where greenhouse gas emissions are minuscule, if not completely gone, from the energy portfolios in California. And I hope that we can serve as a model for other states and countries. But I think that one of the most powerful impacts that we can have is direct impacts in our community on our most vulnerable customers, and making sure that we have programs that help them as we transition to a green economy, and make sure that there's access to good paying green jobs. There's access to low cost energy and renewable energy for everyone in the community.
It is the greatest thing that a quarter of California's population has CCA service, and that is just going to increase in time. It's a very great feeling to know one has made a lasting difference.
In 2019, PG&E filed for bankruptcy protection once again, fueling even more interest in community choice. Whether motivated by climate goals, clean energy at affordable rates, economic development and green jobs, transparency and accountability, California's CCAs are a positive force and are proving effective at helping communities achieve their energy ambitions. As California works to build a stronger, greener, more reliable electric system, CCAs are a part of the solution. And we are all working together to create a bright energy future for California.
It's been a very difficult path to get here. And we can't fool ourselves. It's going to continue to be difficult going forward, but I think the difference is that we have shared goals and that we're working together. CCAs, the investor-owned utilities, the regulators, the market participants, the community activists, the environmentalists. Together, we want to change the world. We want to change our future, and we're going to do it.